right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wonderful people, lovers of freedom all over the world. Wherever you're joining us from today, you're highly welcome to this wonderful YouTube platform. This is Let's Talk TV, your one and only YouTube channel that gives you updated news and information as it is hot. I'll be dropping a video of the chief of defense, right? Yeah, chief of defense staff, who visited Enugu State today. I'll be dropping the video, and also I'll also be dropping some videos because we've all seen how the military have been invading Biafraland. We saw what happened in Abia State, and we saw the numerous attacks that have been happening to innocent Biafrans in Biafraland. Thank God, for the Biafran Defense Forces that have been making sure that every life and properties of every Biafran is actually safe. Forget about the whole propaganda you're seeing on social media. Forget about what the IPOB Nigeria in quote and the DOS have been trying to do and cause all kind of calamities in destroying the Biafran Defense Force and the Biafran Liberation Army in quote. Now, the military, with the help of, because they've gotten help from France, from the French military also, who have been working with them. They deployed more troops, and they've been storming Biafran land. If you see most of the videos on S handle, you'll be shocked. You see, I saw a CCTV footage. I think that video was captured by a drone, where these people are trooping in with foreign mercenaries into Biafran land. Now, this whole thing have actually shown or proven and continue to review the major aim of the DOS. I saw what is going on in Osumogo. They said Osu people are now breeding again because the Prime Minister Simon Ekpa is being incarcerated. I still want to clear that the Prime Minister Simon Ekpa is not incarcerated. He is just in detention, and detention in Finland is not just the normal detention we have in Nigeria, where everywhere is like a dungeon. In fact, I had to Google the particular detention they said the Prime Minister is, and honestly, that place is even a flexing place. It's a place for you to rehabilitate and for you to think properly, but that is not the issue. They've been bringing propaganda that Osu people, peace have returned to Osumogo and all that. Now, the big question is, did the Biafran Liberation Army take away peace in Osu? Or was it not the police, the military actually, that was invading Osu and buying innocent people? We saw the videos online. We saw the one that happened in Osumogo. How military stormed, throwing missiles here and there and buying innocent people. We saw the one at, what is this place? At Awomama, that is within that Olo axis also. Our community, where they destroyed a lot of properties, buying innocent people on daily basis. Now you're bringing propaganda against the Prime Minister Simon Ekpa and against the Biafran Liberation Army just for your own selfish interests. Let us go into the video first of all, before we go into the issue of the day, because we have a lot of issues to talk about today. Enjoy this video and do not forget to subscribe to this channel.
As President Bola Tinubu is keen in addressing insecurity ravaging Nigeria, in view of that, the Minister of Defense, Mohammed Abubakar, is here in Enugu. At the Headquarters 82 Division, the minister, after the salute, liaised with the senior military officers before heading to the Air Force Base on a familiarization tour. Returning to the division, heads of security agencies, the religious and traditional rulers, civil society organizations across 5 southeast states, including Cross River, which are under the Operation Udoka, went on a closed-door interactive session.
We discussed extensively the causes of insecurity in the southeast, also measures to be taken to curtail and end insecurity in the southeast. It was robust discussions. A lot of advices were proper. A lot of discussions, enlightenment going through the discussions, and I'm happy. Really very happy with the outcome of the election, and I'm going to be the president. And I'm sure if we follow through on all the advices and the plans and everything very well, we will see the end of insecurity in the southeast.
The participants also had this to say.
Very instructive. It has brought out the best of us because we openly spoke to ourselves, spoke to the minister. He had us, and I'm very sure some of the areas we talked about is going to be more effective.
If we unite against insecurity, believe you me, insecurity will be eaten up the past in Enugu State, in Nigeria as a whole.
All the security agencies are also here. So there is no doubt with this kind of synergy, with kind of the discussion that have come up, we work on it, and I can tell you that insecurity in Southeast Nigeria is still not possible.
The minister also interfaced with the soldiers, acknowledging their successful onslaught against criminals and motivated them for more commitment towards protection of Nigeria's integrity. The event also featured presentation of souvenirs to the guests. Eva and
they have taken over the street. The zoo and also the highest thing they can do is to fly with their military jet. Within few hours, they'll go back. That's all. Commit your men on ground. Come and meet our men. You pack them in body bags. The men of Chukwokika Biama parading the street in Biafraland, and the Janjaweed terrorist is nowhere to be found, parading with their own useless armored car. If you like, go on comment section and call it Hilux. You don't know the difference between armored car and tanks. Asking me idiotic question. This is the whether you call it Hilux, this is the vehicle that carry that arm they usually shoot everywhere. Shoot everybody. They drive with this same car, shooting innocent people in Biafra land. You're asking me, is this Hilux or armored car? What is the meaning of armored car? Okay, you won't even give the answer.
We are moving. We are with their car. It is happening now. We are moving.
Somebody said, I'm in Lagos, but never for one day be afraid of talking about Biafra. I'm even spreading the good news of the declaration of my nation, Biafra. Of course, Biafrans can never ever be afraid of any idiot. We are not afraid. Can't you see the People's Army parading in the street of Biafra? This is not Photoshop. This is not Photoshop. With their own armored car, fully loaded. I want the Janjaweed to come here and tell us, how did this vehicle ended up in the hands of the Biafra Liberation Army? It is a simple question. I don't want to explain it to them. They should come here and tell us, how did your vehicle ended up in the hands of the Biafra Liberation Army? The moment that question is answered, then we begin to have proper conversation. This is the current situation in Biafraland today. If you are not in the, I don't know if I can say if you are not opportuned or if you are lucky. I don't know which one. Because those who you think today that are unlucky to be around the area where this war is going on could be the ones that will be lucky enough to tell the full history of the war tomorrow. So I don't know if I can say if you are lucky enough to see or to be close to the area where this war is going on, or should I say, if you are lucky enough not to be around where the war is going on. But I want to tell you that as it stands today, their anger is that we now have every single thing that they have. We have every single thing that they have been using to suppress us. Let me tell you, raising the military, raising the Biafran army is the best thing that has ever happened to the Biafran people. And it started with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Are you paying attention? It all started with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You see these two men, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Mazi Simon Ekpa. I also want to use this opportunity to let the zoo know that we are moving forward. You can never ever stop Biafra. It is impossible. And now that Biafra has been redeclared, I don't know where you are going to run to. Now, Kaigazienu be that idiot called Hundeyin or whatever they call him. Hundeyin, we have come to knock on your door this very moment. This is going to be the final one. After this one, I will open the mic for Biafrans to come in and of course make their contribution. They called him Hundeyin. He's an Afonja. Listen, there is difference between being an Afonja and being a Yoruba man. I want you to pay attention. There's a difference between being an Afonja and being a Yoruba man. Right? It's like an Igbo man calling a thief, a criminal, a sabo in Igbo land, Ifajona. When you call a sabo from Igbo land an Ifajona, does not mean that you are insulting Igbo people. Because that man you are calling Afonja, you are calling Ifajona is an Igbo man. No. Ifajona is a rejected name that nobody will give birth tomorrow or today and give that name Ifajona. It's a rejected name in Biafraland, in Igbo land as a whole, or in Biafraland as a whole. Yes, in the entire Biafra territory, that name Ifajona is rejected. Nobody will give birth and name that child Ifajona in the entire Biafra land, because of the role of that man that bore that name called Ifajona. The same way we refer this type of people from Yoruba land as Afonja, that does not mean that we are calling the entire Yoruba as Afonja. No. Because we know what Afonja stands for, or what he stood for when he was here. We know what he did to his own people that cost them a Lorraine today, the present day Kwara State. It was because of Ifajona's, not Ifajona, Afonja's, greediness and sabotage that the Yoruba tribe lost a Lorraine today in the hands of the Fulani. Today, you have Emir of a Lorraine. Emir of a Lorraine, a Fulani man. Even the present day governor of a Lorraine is a Fulani man. Yoruba man does not have the capacity to govern a Lorraine, not a Lorraine, Kwara State. Kwara State. Because of the treasury of Afonja. Because of the treasury of Afonja. And let me tell you, in Yoruba land today, the likes of this Afonja are too many. Too many in Yoruba land. They have a lot to deal with. By the time they begin to be serious with their freedom, they have so much to deal with. Our own will be child's play to what Yoruba people, upcoming freedom fighters will deal with. I'm telling you the truth. I am seriously telling you the truth. The only lucky there will be is if, as Biafra has left the zoo, and the zoo finally break into pieces. Everybody will say, okay, since these people have left, we are no longer interested. Everybody will go into the entity will be completely balkanized. That is going to be the only chance the Yoruba people will have in order to curtail with Afonja in their midst. If not, the day they will go into the struggle on a serious note, the way we are fighting now seriously for our freedom, I want to tell you, Biafra saboteurs and the Fajunas in Biafra land will be child's play to compare with what the Yoruba upcoming freedom fighters are going to see. I'm telling you, because Afonjas in Yoruba land is too many. They are many. They are legion. And this idiot on your screen is one of them. Let us listen to him.
At best is a pawn. At best is being used and doesn't even understand it. He doesn't strike me as a particularly bright person. I actually think Nnamdi Kanu is a much more dangerous political secessionist than Simon Ekpa.
Let us listen to that again. Can you hear him? Dear friends, let me know in the comment section if you can hear the idiot properly. Tell me in the comment section if you can hear him. Before we proceed, let me know if you can hear him properly, please.
At best is a pawn. At best is being used and doesn't even understand it. He doesn't strike.
Now, from the beginning, he said, Simon Ekpa, I think he's a con. I think he's a con. The same word they used on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a con man, right? Including Asari Tokumbo also used that same word on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He called him a con man. This idiot now is calling the prime minister a con man, and there is something else he said, that he thinks he's being used. The idiot said, and I think he's being used. This interview is very, 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 very okay. That's why I'm talking about it today. He said, and I think he's being used. And then he said something about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Let us listen to him, my people.
At best is a pawn. At best is being.
Simon Ekpa at best is a con. At he's being used. Let us hear him. He called him a con man. The same thing they called Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And I want to ask, well, I'm going to ask that question in a jiffy.
At best is a pawn. At best is being used and doesn't even understand it. He doesn't strike me as a particularly bright person. I actually think Nnamdi Kanu is a much more dangerous political secessionist than Simon Ekpa.
Can we see any video or tweet made by this criminal? Do you know what they say he is? They say he is the founder of West Africa Weekly. Founder of West Africa Weekly in Nigeria. This is an avenue of stealing. Anybody you see fighting against the dissolution of the zoo is a criminal. Anybody you see fighting against the dissolution of the zoo is a criminal. Because they cannot fold their arms and watch you destroy the criminal entity that has given them enabling environment to commit criminal activities. This useless name, they say he is the founder that they call West Africa Weekly, is an avenue of him to steal money. Let me remove the title so you can see it properly. You see that? It's an avenue of stealing money in Nigeria. Look at it here. Founder, West Africa Weekly. The same way they find something, they form something. Some of them they call it NGO. Some of them they call it they give you one name or the other, company or whatsoever, including news agency or whatever, online platform or whatever, in order to use it to steal in Nigeria. Because Nigeria as a name, as an entity, as a whatever organization or whatever you may call it, represent criminality. I said represent criminality. That's why once you become one of them, once you have created your own perfect avenue to loot, to burn, to steal, to rob. Whenever anybody is talking about the disintegration of the zoo, you become the number one enemy of that enemy. That person becomes your number one enemy. And this idiot here, this Afonja, is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Let's continue.
So I wouldn't worry about him. What I'll be worried about is that the funding pipeline.
Sorry, he said he considers Mazi Nnamdi Kanu as a more dangerous freedom fighter than Mazi Samanepa. So, Mr. Man, what did you say? What did you do? What were you tweeting about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu when he was here with us? Can somebody help me to show me? Because that I don't know this man before. Actually, the first time I heard about this man was the time our Prime Minister tweeted him on his official X page. That was the first ever time I knew anything about this idiot.
Worried about him. What I'll be worried about is that the funding pipeline that has somehow very curiously managed to shower Simon Ekpa and his people with hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars at the very.
You see propaganda. Mad people everywhere. Can you see the way they roll? That the oil pipeline being used to shower Simon Ekpa, according to him, millions of dollars. So, do you have any evidence of what you are saying? You see the way they roll. They have no integrity. They have no conscience. You called yourself an educated man, intellectual. That is the reason why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu look at the people like this and call them intellectuals. Do you have any evidence, substantial evidence, to prove your allegation or claim against Mazi Samanepa? Do you have any substantial evidence or credible information to prove your case? The answer is no. But you are here you are on social media, ranting like a madman because you have no brain. Your education is completely useless. They have left you behind.
Pipeline that has somehow very curiously managed to shower Simon Ekpa and his people with hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars. I'd be very interested in knowing where that funding is coming from. Because
I hate to go from Badawuna. I hate to go from Badawuna. He said he would be very curious. He would be very curious. Let me play that again. I hate to go from Badawuna. Everybody is crying now.
Millions of dollars. I'd be very interested in knowing where that funding is coming from.
He wants to know where the fund is coming from. And in the same interview, in the same video, in the same flipping video, this man, just a couple of seconds ago, not even up to 10 seconds, said it was oil money, the pipeline money that was given or that has been used to shower Simon Ekpa thousands or millions of dollars. In the same video, he said he would like to know where the money that we are using to sponsor our Freedom March is coming from. And he just alleged a couple of seconds ago that it was pipeline oil money. This is how to show you how confused they are. They are extremely confused. These people you see claiming to be educated are nothing but idiots and the intellectuals. They know nothing. Their education is nothing but a shame. Shame.
Because even if Simon Ekpa disappears off the face of the planet tomorrow, that funding is still there. And it's going to find someone else and anoint that person as a new, and that person might be a more dangerous person. So I think
so, you know. And that person might be more dangerous person. Oh, you know it. You have such idea. I didn't know. You didn't think about this. So you never thought of it all this while. You know, now matching on social media. Now matching, you never thought of it. And now, after our Prime Minister granted interview to Rudolph, Dr. Damages, a machapota, Kodikage, who has nothing to offer. After the Prime Minister offered an interview to Rudolph, today, boom, you are here. Kafogo, you want us to analyze you. I am analyzing you. I'm helping you to show you to Biafrans for them to see how idiotic you are, for them to see how deluded you are. I'm helping you to make you go viral. At least by the end of the day, the time right now is 23 minutes past 11 p.m. By this time tomorrow, when you come here, you will see how many people must have seen you, even far from what had already seen you from Rudolph. Yes, so I'm helping you, not on your favor, but to help you show your idiocy and stupidity in the public, because you have no brain.
Therefore, there are foreign entities that are actively seeking to instigate crises that would lead to not just the disintegration of Nigeria, but the violent disintegration of Nigeria. I think there are people who are actively working toward that.
Oh, so you know, I love that. I love that you know. I am very happy that you know. So he said that not even the disintegration of the zoo, but violence disintegration of the Zoological Republic. That is his fear. But he has no levels, he has no balls to confront the executive, to confront the government, the terrorist government of the zoo, to tell them, look, where this thing is going, it may lead to the violence disintegration of the Zoological Republic. You better call everybody right now. Let them sit down now and discuss their exit peacefully. You cannot do that because you lack the balls. You don't have the balls to stand as a man to do the necessary, to do the needful, to speak to the so-called powers that be.
As I've said multiple times, even though personally I would very much prefer for Nigeria to remain one country, I think it's in Africa's best interest for Africa to have powerful, geographically large nation states. I think.
And you believe it's going to be Nigeria? I will never do. Idiot, contact panels. I will never do. Yeah, can never do. In as much as you are fighting for the continuation of a terrorist organization, of a terrorist entity like the zoo, your mumu can never do. It is impossible for your mumu to do. I'm telling you.
I think that's what's in Africa's best interest. However, if Nigeria...
Who told you that is in Africa's best interest? Everywhere you go in Africa today, they call Nigeria forever. In case you don't know, you say even it is in the best interest of Africa to have one almighty zoological republic. It is a lie. It's a lie. Anywhere you go in Africa today, everybody is talking ill about the Nigerian people or Nigerian state. Everywhere you go in the entire Africa, not even only in Africa, all over the world, nobody wants to hear the name Zoological Republic. Apart from other African countries' women, other women from other African countries. And you know, to make the matter worse, when they hear Nigerian men, they don't even know that these people they are calling Nigerian men in their various countries who they love so much are actually Biafran people. I'm telling you. Because who are the most traveled? Who are the most traveled? When you see the ladies from other African countries, dying for the so-called Nigerian men, look at them very well. Look at them very, very well. 90% of them are Biafrans. Apart from the ladies from other African countries loving these so-called Nigerian men that happen to be Biafran men, tell me any other thing that they are proud of you for. Everywhere you go, they are hammering on Nigerian people. They want you to leave their country. They want you to be expelled. They arrest you anyhow. They even illegally imprison you or even deport you back to the Zoological Republic. Tell me who is, which African country is proud of Nigeria? Just one.
Nigeria were to break up because the people in Nigeria simply cannot find a way to get along and live together in any acceptable manner, then so be it. But the issue is not so much.
Did you see that? Let's hear him again.
To get along and live up states. I think that's what's in Africa's best interest. However, if Nigeria were to break up because the people in Nigeria simply cannot find a way to get along and live together in any acceptable manner, then
did you hear him? I want you to remember here because we are coming back here. Remember what he said here. We are coming back.
We simply cannot find a way to get along and live together in any acceptable manner, then so be it. But the issue is not so much the breakup. The issue is the manner of the breakup. I would hope that if a breakup happens, that it's a negotiated breakup. Something similar to the negotiations that led to the carving out of South Sudan, out of Sudan.
Chai. Nah. What the go? We have a lot of fools in Nigeria here. We have a lot of idiots in Nigeria. Did you hear him? And this is the man they claim to be Leshua. Educated idiot, educated illiterate, educated moron, using South Sudan to give example the kind of breakup that he wants in the Zoological Republic. A negotiated breakup. And then he used South Sudan and Sudan to give instance. South Sudan fought for 30 years. So this is the David Hundeyin they usually talk about. Our PM usually posts his tweet on his official X account. Oh, this is that David. He has no brain. Let me take it back so it doesn't look as if I'm insulting him. Let me take it back.
I would hope that if a breakup happens, that it's a negotiated breakup. Something similar to the negotiations that led to the carving out of South Sudan, out of Sudan.
Can you imagine? Oh, or didn't that come on a funny kuoku? Oh, to akafade. So this is how they reason. You are telling me you don't want a what do you call what did you call it? Violence breakup in Nigeria. But if Nigeria is to break up, let it be a negotiated breakup, just exactly what happened in Sudan that led to carving out of South Sudan. Like, seriously. So this is the David Hundeyin they usually talk about. Our PM usually posts his tweet, who has all of a sudden forgotten that South Sudan he's talking about fought for 30 good years with Sudan. Guerrilla warfare before Sudan finally said, no, this is too much. We can't continue allowing our soldiers to buy in South Sudan. And they came in roundtable discussion and allowed South Sudan to go. Before even United Nations came in to conduct referendum. After 30 years of brutal guerrilla warfare. And somebody that called himself an educated man I don't know if he's a journalist, social media journalist, or whatever he is. I don't even know. I told you the first time I heard about him was the time our prime minister was posting his tweet. I don't know any other thing about him. He's here. I want to see if Rudolph will even remind him or correct him that South Sudan you are talking about here fought for 30 good years. The history is there. Even in my own eyes, I was hearing and listening and watching South Sudan fighting for their independence. Not about the history anymore. I saw videos and pictures. I read the news of South Sudan fighting for their independence till just the other day. Let me see if Rudolph will correct him.
Even though, yes, there was a war that came before that, but I'm saying the actual negotiation itself, there was a process involving the UN and all whatnot. So if that were to happen,
okay, I'm beginning to understand him now. He said, even though there was a war that came before then, he also acknowledged here that even though there was a kind of war that came before then, so have you now forgotten that it was because of that war? That very war you are talking about is what led to the the subsequent negotiation that led to the breakup of Sudan and gave birth to South Sudan. If there was no war that lasted for 30 years, do you think that Sudanese government would have called the leaders of South Sudan as at then in on roundtable discussion and allowed them to go? Do you think such a thing would have happened? Do you think that United Nations would have come in and declare referendum for South Sudanese before they left? Are you not aware that it was after the war that lasted for 30 years that UN has to come in and, ask South Sudan to allow these people to go on a referendum? Are you not aware? Are you not aware, Mumu man, that without the war, there wouldn't have been that negotiation you are talking about? And that is where the zoo is heading to. The zoo is heading to that same negotiation table because every single thing you see happening today is going to end on negotiation table. Every country went through the same thing. Every single country went through the same thing, including the former Yugoslavia. They all went through the same thing. The former Czechoslovakia, they all went through the same thing. The former USSR, they all went through the same thing. After the battle, after the long years of war, they will come to the round table to discuss about their bilateral agreement, their international agreement, and their border, adjustment. That is how it works. Mumu man.
Breakup, which I don't want to happen really under any circumstances, but if a breakup absolutely had to happen, I would very much.
Because you are a coward. That's why you don't want that kind of breakup, because you don't know what should be done for that negotiation to take place. You don't know because you are a coward.
The UN and all whatnot. So if that were to happen, if a breakup, which I don't want to happen really under any circumstances, but if a breakup absolutely had to happen, I would very much prefer that it were to be a negotiated breakup, because if it were to be a violent disintegration, nobody's really going to survive it and nobody's going to recover from it. So even the new countries that would arise out of it, they wouldn't be able to recover from the mess that would arise from a violent disintegration. And the reason I say that is,
don't pity us. Let us go first. Stop having mercy or pity on us. Let us go first. And we have gone. We have left you behind. I am here to tell you today that we have left you behind. Cry me a river. Cry more.
I don't think a lot of people understand. It goes back to what I was saying earlier about people not understanding that Nigeria is part of the world. and Nigeria exists in a geopolitical context that is bigger than Nigeria. So a lot of people don't realize that some of the world's most abundant energy reserves that we don't even know, that we aren't even aware of, are buried under our feet in Nigeria. So the so-called Anambra Basin, for example, which covers parts of Imo, Ebonyi, and Anambra, is estimated to hold something like 30 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. And to put that in perspective, the world's largest known reserve.
No. You can't tell us our history. We don't have natural gas in Anambra. We don't have natural gas in Imo, in the old Imo and old Anambra. We don't have any natural gas in our land. In fact, our land is landlocked. Biafraland as a whole is landlocked. Then Igbo land does not have anything. We don't have gas. We don't have oil. We are not included in your Niger Delta. Leave us. It's okay. Don't come and tell us our history. We don't have natural gas. We don't have anything. Let us be. Don't worry. Thank you for telling us. Don't remind us again.